What's up? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to AFN. If you don't know who we are, we're Atlanta Falcons Nation, the voice of the fans. And you already know who I am, Ms Maggie T.
And I am Lisa.
Ms. Lisa, we got to give you a title, a first lady.
No, you're first lady. We'll figure it out. I don't know what.
Figure it out. But you guys know her by now. You've seen her out there interacting with the fans and players and traveling. Oh my goodness, it's just been an honor. And I actually finally met her at the preseason game. Well, the open practice.
Practice, yeah.
Yep. So Lisa, how are you feeling today?
I am excited. We get our final preseason game, and it's at the Benz. So I will be, at the Benz tomorrow to check out our squad versus those Jaguars.
I'm excited. And I'll be there for the Aints game, everybody.
Oh, man. That's a big one.
It's going to be a big one.
I'm ready. The Aints doing a whole lot of trash talking, so we got some for them.
But speaking of, somebody that's out there is going to probably be out there enjoying it. Also, we have a special guest in the house, and we want to bring her on. Now, I'm not going to butcher your name. We're going to give it a first shot because that's one thing I didn't get the pronunciation of your name. So we're going to go there. Let's go. We have... Hi, welcome to AFN.
I'm so excited. All the ladies, that's what it's all about.
That's what I'm saying. Girl power. Power. Now, for those who don't know, I think we have some people in the audience that's already excited to have you on. They've already tweeting and, I can't wait to see this. She is the sports anchor and reporter at WSB-TV.
Channel 2.
Yeah.
Old school, Channel 2 was all I watched growing up. So
I love to hear that.
Channel 5, Channel 11, but Channel 2.
Channel 2 was my baby.
Yeah.
As always, so we're going to go ahead and get right into some questions for you. I know they're excited. I'm going to go ahead and say hey to the chat. I do see them in the chat. Let's say hello to everyone. How you doing, ATL Leo? Hey, Ms Maggie. Jamarius. Hey, ATL. The Trauma Locks. Everybody's names are so crazy. Reggie 2K. Everybody got those little names. All right. So starting off, because everybody knows you from anchoring and everything, but let's talk about you.
Yeah.
Let's get to know you a little bit.
All right. What do you want to know?
In Philadelphia and raised on the South Jersey coast, and this led you to play in sports and sports in high school.
Yeah.
Which teams did you play for?
So I played every single sport up until freshman year of high school, and then I stuck with basketball. I did a little bit of cross country, and then we had a surf team. So I was on the surf team as well those 4 years.
And speaking of surf team.
Yeah. There you go. Like the research here.
Yes.
Ways, man.
Look at that.
Look at your arms and legs.
Yeah, that was back in my PK days, probably. Not like that anymore.
But, I saw some picture. I saw that. I was like, wow. You never know people's lives. And so you kind of do your little research. So yes, we did see that, and I thought that was awesome. But yeah, let's. What was that like? How fun is that?
Oh, it's awesome. I have a twin brother, so I'm a minute older than him. Wow. So we grew up.
And that makes a difference in twin, where I have a twin sister.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
They're older, but they think I'm the oldest.
Oh, that's funny. I'm just 1 minute older than him. But we grew up really competitive and playing all the sports. And we were always outside playing every game imaginable. And then we kind of split our own ways. I was basketball and surfing, and he was like soccer, tennis, and surfing. But just grew up big sports fans, big Philly sports fans, just in the family. Played basketball until my senior year. And then right during my senior year, I tore my ACL. Right before the end of the season. So that kind of shifted my focus. I knew I always wanted to do journalism. If you talk to my mom, she says I was doing fake Christmas tree. I would do a report when they're cutting down the Christmas tree at 5. So I always loved doing that. But then when I tore my ACL, I kind of went another way and got into health and physical education. But then I ended up double majoring because I met someone from one of the stations in Philly doing a surf segment. And she was kind of like, why aren't you doing broadcast? You seem like you love it. I'm like, yeah, I do love it. Like, what am I doing? So I double majored in broadcast journalism and health and physical education. And yeah, I've loved every second. My first job out of school was out in Colorado Springs. And I applied to probably like 50 or 60 places out of school. And then that was like one of the 3 that got back to me. But I got very lucky. We didn't have sports at that station. We had, it was like all news. And I would always pitch sports stories just because sports in general, there's probably like 2, maybe 3 people max at a station. So it's very hard to get into. So I pitched sports stories every day, and eventually we got bought by another station, and they're like, why don't you do sports? So I did sports, and my first year covering sports was Super Bowl 50. So I got to go all the way to Super Bowl 50 and cover Peyton Manning riding into the sunset with the Broncos, and that was really cool. And then my second year, we were a Fox station at the time. It was Super Bowl 51, which we won't talk about long here. But yes. I did meet my boss there. I was in Colorado Springs, a young reporter, and my boss now, Zach, we crossed paths. And, 5 years later, when it was time for me to move, he remembered me. So kind of like a full circle moment being back here in Atlanta. Never would have thought, gosh, I think it's almost 10 or whatever years ago, 9 years ago, that when I met him, that it would turn into anything, just was saying, hello, how are you? But now that I'm here, it's kind of like one of those weird moments. Like someone took a picture of me standing in line, and Zach and my producer that I work with now are literally in that picture right next to me.
So that was your future already in the
It was
making.
really weird, like it was just very like things happen for a reason, like that type of stuff.
It do actually, it's your impression. That's why I say your first impression is everything.
Oh, absolutely. I say that to every kid,
people, how you introduce yourself. You have to carry yourself like, you're going places no matter where you're going.
Yeah. And you got to be nice to every single person. I don't care if they're a security guard or a janitor. Like, you just never know. And you never know what's going on with people. But yeah, so that's kind of like the very Sparks Notes version of me. This is my dog Rocky, who wants to play right now.
Oh yeah. So speaking of Rocky.
Yes. Yeah. Speaking of Rocky, today is National Dog Day.
I love it.
We, we're scouring your social media and we found the cutest picture of Rocky. And look at him. He is adorable. See, you got him in some Braves gear.
Yeah, but don't worry, because he does have, I was just at the Piedmont Art Festival, and they have ones for Falcons. So he's
I'm ready to put it on.
Yeah, he is. So he's got that. He's got the Braves still, and then he has the Hawks. So we're covered for Atlanta sports. I probably need Atlanta Dream. I need a couple more, but we're working. We're building his wardrobe slowly but surely.
Love it. All teams ATL Rocky, but he's
that's what he is. He's got red and black on. Like he's got a red and black harness.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting all shy now.
Rocky, it's okay.
It's okay, Rocky. We're nice.
He seems like a human. Yeah.
But he's so cute, and we just wanted to feature him on National
well, you're so sweet.
Okay, so Maggie, we could go to the next question.
Okay, she kind of already went into, you went to Rowan University. And you went into your career and how your journalism, how that started for you. So let's get right into your career now.
Okay.
Being an American sports director, reporter, you're everything for WSB-TV. Tell us about your experience there, because are you, have you become like an Atlanta fan, of sports and everything? So how was the experience?
So it's been great. It's funny, when I first moved here, everyone was like, oh, you're moving to Atlanta. That city struggles to win, great city, blah, blah, blah. But then like all of a sudden, like they start winning. And it was awesome. The Braves went on a run. The Hawks made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Yes, the Falcons are building, but they've got some great pieces that are going to keep building and building. I think that's what's exciting for them. So my first year here was kind of playoffs, and then COVID happened, which was kind of unique for all of us, right? I think Zooms really became a possibility, like what we're doing right now was possible kind of through the pandemic. And then, so that was kind of rough at first, because so much of my job is like building relationships and interviews and things like that. So not being able to do that it was hard, it kind of felt like, the part that you love about your job of being out there and meeting
Mhm.
people and doing interviews and stories you couldn't really do, right? So that was, that was hard at first, but then we found Zoom and made it work for the time being. But now that it's like pretty much for the most part back to normal-ish, it's awesome. Like you're doing the interviews, you're doing everything in person. Training camp is like
Yeah.
back out there. So it's been really fun to get to experience that again. And I think for the most part, I think that Atlanta fans have a lot to be excited about. Even though it feels like maybe this year it's going to be a little bit hard with the Falcons, I think they've got to look big picture and then kind of the additions that they've made, and that they are building something. I would say fun and exciting to watch in the next couple of years. Right now, it might feel like it's going to be forever, but I think they're just a few pieces away from being, hopefully back competing in the playoffs and championship again.
Oh yeah, and we're definitely going to get into that because it's Atlanta Falcons Nation. That's
Yeah.
why we are here. Let's get to the next one.
Well, real quick, let me ask you. So, a day in the life of a sports journalist, like, are you always just kind of waiting for the next big story? I mean, it feels like, especially in the NFL, and I'm sure all sports, you can break at any moment. So for you, just kind of, and you don't have to, go too much into it, but just what is that like?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome, right? I think I always tell people it's one of the coolest jobs we'll ever have, but it also can be hard at times too, because I work pretty much every holiday. I work weekends. You move away from your family. So I'm finally on the same, like my family's from Jersey. So my dog wants to play now. And so I'm back in the same time zone as them. So, that part of it can be hard, but every day you're like right now, I would say we're getting into like our grind, right? Where I know like, Friday is going to be high school football. Saturday is going to be college football. Sunday is going to be NFL. My off days are usually like Monday, Tuesday. And then like Wednesday we'll go up to Falcons practice because that's when the quarterbacks talk. And then Thursday's Falcons talk, or we're going to go to Braves if they're in the playoffs or something like that. So
speaking of Braves, I have a little nice picture.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
awesome.
Yeah, that was an epic. I mean, that whole run and everything, and then that picture was awesome. Just to be a part of that and to see what they've built, and yeah, someone sent me that picture like the next morning. I didn't even see it, and I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "That is so cool to be right there with the commissioner's trophy and right there interviewing Riley." I believe that was Riley I was interviewing, but so that's like one of those moments where you're like, "This is why I do what I do. I love what I know."
Oh yeah, you look so proud, like
yeah, and I think that I think people ask me all the time, like if you're fans of the team you cover, and you're normally never like I'm never a fan per se of the team. I grew up in Philly, but I'm fan of the people because I cover them, right? So I get to learn their stories and their backgrounds and the grind, and so you start to cheer for the people, that and what they're going through. And it's way more fun to cover winning teams than losing teams, right? So I'm loving it. I'm not. I want them to win all the time because it's so much fun to get to go and cover all of those events and travel to them, and just because they work so hard to get to the playoffs or the championship, right? But that's also what we're working for too, because that's like the peak of our career, right? Is like you're getting to cover those major events. So it kind of goes both ways. But once you start learning like the different like storylines of the guys and get to know them, then you just want to see them, succeed as well.
And honestly, Atlanta needed it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
I feel like it was such a relief. Like, even though they got the championship in 95, I mean, that's been forever ago. You know what I'm saying? And after what we want to talk about, it was something that the city needed. And go Braves. I mean, that was an amazing experience. And I cried. I was literally like, thank you. Because I got a little nervous, admittedly, when, they went back to Houston, because I was hoping they would close it out at the Battery. And when that didn't happen, you know, like, okay, but they beat them. I was just like, they got it. I was just so happy for the Braves. And just knowing the energy that the city had when our 2016 Falcons team made their Super Bowl run, the city was just so exciting. It was just, so that, and I just remember, you know what I'm saying? I remember the thousands of fans at Atlantic Station that were there for the kickoff or the send-off rather. I mean, that was nuts. And I just think for those of us that experienced that, we want that again. And I do feel, and maybe you can tell me, since you have been in training camp and have maybe interacted with fans, do you feel or can you sense an energy around this 2022 squad and the fan reaction to the team?
Yeah, no, I definitely can feel like the mentality or the mind shift. I think like it was really early in camp when I think they had just put pads on for the first time. And there was 2 scuffles that broke out.
Oh yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
I was like, what is happening?
Exactly, right?
I was like, oh, they
yeah.
We come to training camp, and that has never happened since I've been going.
Yeah. And so you like to see that. So I think the mindset, the competitiveness, that belief is there. And so you kind of see that, right? You kind of have to buy into like the grind and what they're doing, but they're not looking at it as like, it's a rebuild, the team, and they're never going to say that, and they shouldn't, right? But they are looking like they want to compete now and win, and that's what's really exciting, I think, right now about them. And they have some really young talent when you look at Drake London and when you look at Kyle Pitts, and even Desmond Ridder, and they've got Marcus Mariota now, quarterbacks that can run and be a little bit more dynamic. Matt was great and one of the best that ever played for the Falcons, but they just can do a little bit and more. Now, there's a lot more questions when you look at can they be consistent on defense and what this offense will look like. But right now, I think you're seeing a lot of positive energy around the fans. Now, Atlanta fans, I always am like, it's interesting to me compared to like Philly fans, it's very different, right? Yeah. But like this fan base is just as passionate. They just want to see wins. They need to see wins. Yeah, and that's okay. Everyone likes winning.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of happens and I don't know, this year into next year and how many wins they can get. So it should be a good season. I can't believe it's almost here.
I know, and it just feels like I feel like this NFL offseason in particular was like a soap opera. Matt Ryan being traded, the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes, and then Mariota coming in, and it was just like, woo! I mean, it was quite emotional, to be honest. Like,
oh yeah,
it was a very active offseason in ways that we didn't expect, and then it was just kind of like, okay.
Yeah. All right. I'm sorry, ladies. My internet is going in and out. You see me freeze and everything. So
that's all right. That's my life. We all understand that these days.
Let's go ahead. I just wanted to put this picture up because I think this is probably one of my highlights.
Oh. Best picture out there. It's like I'm gonna be haunted by this forever. But it was so much fun. I mean, it was one of the first things I noticed in training camp this year. I was like, the guys look like they're wearing, like some of these are wearing the extra padding. So then when we started talking to the coach, it was they're called Guardian caps. So they had to wear them up until the second or through the second preseason game. Mm-hmm. And it's all basically the NFL trying to prevent concussions. So like if one player is wearing that helmet and hits another player without that pad, it gives them like, I think 10% less, chances. Yep. And then if both are wearing it, it's like 20% less.
Yep.
Really interesting. But only certain positions had to wear it, right? Which was fascinating. It was the tight ends, the O linemen and D linemen. So not everyone had to wear them, and there was kind of jokes between the guys. They called them bobbleheads when they had to wear them. And some of them, like Grady said, it definitely felt like they're a little bit hotter. I thought it felt heavy, but then again, like my neck's not trained for a helmet and that, so like I might be a little weak when I'm saying that. But it's so funny because when I put the helmet on with that, like I thought I looked kind of cool, like. And then I saw myself and I was like, oh my gosh, I look ridiculous. And like everyone at work was dying. They're like,
you gotta imagine the shoulder pads and everything else.
Yeah. So it was funny, but it kind of gave me a better perspective on kind of what the guys were talking about. And it will be interesting to see, every team was different. Like Pittsburgh made every player, I think, except for the quarterbacks wear it. Yeah. And so I'll be curious to see next year, if they add them on, for the entire preseason, or maybe even longer. I mean, if it can help prevent concussions, that's one of the hardest things in these sports, in this sport, especially in CTE. I'll be curious to see, but maybe they can come up with something like a little bit thinner. There's so much technology
Yeah,
out
it's just
it looked a
there. Yeah.
little.
And you miss
safety first and player protection, we get it, but it looked a little crazy.
Yeah, and like maybe it could be inside the helmet. I don't know, or I mean outside, whatever. Because like you couldn't see like the helmet, like what team and like all that stuff. So, it was just I don't know, but it was cool to see, at least the NFL trying something different. And well, I don't know. I don't know the stats on like how many concussions it prevented or anything. We'll have to look into that later. But yeah, that Zach has that saved as his screensaver on his phone. So every time I call him, that picture pops up, and he finds it hilarious. So now he like just doesn't pick up. So I have to call back and he sees that picture.
Hilarious.
So.
Well, we're coming up on our time. So, we have 2 preseason games under our belt. Can you talk a little bit about your expectations for tomorrow's game versus the Jags? And, are you looking for anything in particular?
I think that especially in the 3rd preseason game, you're definitely not going to see a lot of the starters with Marcus Mariota. I think you'll see Desmond and Felipe again. You'll start to look at more of like the guys that are trying to make the squad. And I think I've been talking about Jared Bernhardt, this receiver.
Yes. Birdie.
Yes, Birdie. He's got a connection with those guys, especially Ritter. He's had some great catches. That touchdown, the walk-off touchdown he had in that first one. And he's such an interesting story, right? Like
he's a cross player.
Yes. And I'm saying it wrong. It's like the Torton Award, but it's basically like he won the Heisman in the cross. And so to see how athletic he is and competing and doing really well, does he make it? Maybe. Does he make, special teams, or is he a practice squad guy? But those are the kind of stories that you like to hear. I mean, if he makes it, like that's a movie in my opinion.
You know what? GMFB, Good Morning Football, they did a segment on him this morning.
Did they really?
Yes. And
they saw it on Channel 2 first.
Yep. They were saying that, he's a great story, undrafted, but he's, standing out. And they said that the Detroit game wasn't a fluke because he made some really good plays in the 2nd preseason game. So he's become a fan favorite quickly, and I'm here for it. Here for it.
Everyone loves a good underdog story, right? Yeah, so, there's definitely some battles to talk about. So like offensive line, defensive line. Deion Jones is back. Is he going to play? I'm not sure if he's up to like that speed yet. He said he was studying from, the iPad and studying the plays and things like that, and feels more comfortable with Dean Pease. So that will be interesting to see. It is, Marcus Mariota's job now, but Desmond Ritter has been doing, well, and has been making some really tight passes and in good spots. So it will be interesting to see how the season plays out. Everyone asks like, predictions, how many games, I think they're going to win. I think they have a chance to win, anywhere from like 5 to 7, maybe 8, games. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. They have some winnable games on their schedule, and there are a couple teams they're playing that don't have like quarterbacks really set. When you look at the Saints, they kind of go back and forth. And Panthers, I think, Baker and them are still competing. So it's going to be interesting to see. It should be an exciting season. I think there's a lot, even though, everyone's talking, I think they have the chance to be decent. I don't think we're going to be talking about them, hopefully not only having a couple wins this season.
Are you going to be at the season opener versus those Aints?
I think so. Yeah. Right now I'm planning on being there. Yeah, I definitely will. And in this last preseason game, I know some people talk about preseason games not being as exciting, but there's so many storylines, right? When you got Trevor Lawrence there, you got Trayvon Walker, the number 1 overall pick there, Foye, who was a Falcon, now with the Jags, so I think there's a lot of cool things to be excited for, to get pumped up about. And it's always a good time. I mean, the Benz is like unreal. It was like one of the best stadiums you can go and enjoy and take in. So I think there's an exciting season, and they'll have a lot to build off and look forward to in the coming years as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Well, Ms. Maggie, you have anything else for Alison?
Yes, we want to get your, now that you've been to training camp, preseason, who stood out to you? Who's standing out right now, from your experience?
Right now, like, Drake London, I haven't been there this week, but when he, wasn't hurt, or coming off that knee injury, some of the plays he was making in practice, you're like, okay, yeah, we see why, they took you 8th overall. It's just insane the way he's able to grab and get the ball. And sometimes you're like, he's not gonna, oh, he got that, so and with him and Kyle Pitts, I just really think they've got a dynamic, they've got the pieces to be a dynamic offense. And then you got Cordell Patterson, of course, the veteran in the backfield as well. So I think there's a lot of excitement, but Drake London, for sure, he definitely proved why he deserved to be there. Hopefully he gets healthy really soon, because you want to see him out there. You don't want to see him missing games, because that then could affect, the Falcons more. And I think that was a problem with Pitts. They didn't really have another receiver. He was the receiver, but then it's easy to try to take him out of the game plan. But if you have Drake and Kyle lining up, and hey, who knows, maybe Birdie, or, they've got Quadre, or, Olison, they've got some other guys out there. So it'll be definitely cool to see this season.
For me, I want to see our running game come alive. I feel like that's a piece of our offense that's been missing. And we know that the running game helps us to open up the passing game. So I think that's a crucial piece. And yeah, I personally would like to see that come alive and be consistent as well. So
yeah. And it's all about being balanced, because if you're too heavy in one way, then, it's easy to game plan for you. So yeah, I think, right now, right, everyone's on this, we're all ready to win championships, and it's 0-0. So hopefully, in week 4 and 5, we're talking about more wins than losses, and that everyone's healthy. So we'll see. But I can't believe it's almost here. My gosh.
I know. I'm so excited.
Yeah, we're ready. So hopefully I get to meet you ladies in person. If I see you out,
yes, we definitely gonna try to make that happen. I have met Tori. She's met Tori. I want to meet Kelly, everything. But what I want to see is Dean Pease and his defense improve this year. Like I know offense is what we're, running game and everything else, but I really want to see this defense step up, because we've struggled years after years with this defense. And Dean Pease was like, whatever. Erase everything that you knew before. It's not going to be like that now when I'm here. So I love the attitude, and I love how even Arthur Smith, you can feel the confidence. You can feel there's something different in the air about these players now. They literally want to be here. You can tell them.
Yes. Yeah. And that says a lot about the culture that they're creating, and that competitive nature, and that mindset, and that belief. And that's not, it's not everything. You need talent too, but it's a big part of it, because it's like going to work every day. If you're not happy and you don't believe that you're going to win, then it's going to be a struggle. So it
brings that confidence. It brings that, they're competing, and they're loving it. And you got veterans being veterans, and, leading. I love it. And everybody's holding each other accountable.
Yeah, it is. It's a good culture coming, and hopefully it means good things to come for the Falcons in 2021. Or 2.
Well, we are coming up on the last couple of minutes. So, Alison, is there anything that you want to tell the Atlanta Falcons fan base, or last minute thoughts for yourself?
I would just say, trust the process, as they say. They have, they're going through it, but they are picking, good talent, injuries and everything that'll happen this season, but it's how they bounce back and show resiliency. I enjoy covering the Falcons and all of the teams. So does Rocky, who's begging to go outside right now. And always, feel free to reach out, on Twitter, Instagram, or email me at Facebook. If I see it, I'm always happy to try to respond and interact with my fan base whenever I can. So I really enjoy that. And if you're ever out in the community and see me, say, hey, I hope to meet you guys in person, whether in the games or events or anything like that. And don't be strangers. It's good to get to meet people. And I love seeing the passion of all of the fans in Atlanta.
And I just want to thank you for being a woman in sports. What I'm saying? We're still continuing to break down those barriers, and seeing you, on WSB-TV. I just want to thank you for stepping out there and representing, you know what I'm saying? Because we know, not everyone thinks that women know sports. I mean, I love football. My dad was a high school football coach, so I grew up around it my entire life. And obviously I never played the sport, but I have a passion for it like no other.
Yep.
So
And there are men who've never played the sport either and can talk about it. So it goes the same way, So you just, make sure to study and watch the film.
Right.
And if there's any future sports journalists out there that ever have questions, feel free to, email me. I'm always happy to talk about, school, resume tapes, the job process, whatever it might be.
Love it. Thank you so much, Alice.
Yeah.
Allison, it was wonderful to have you on.
Thank you. You
enjoy
were
the rest
fantastic.
of your evening.
Thank you so much. I'll be on Sports Zone Friday talking high school football in like 3 hours.
Hey.
So I'll see
great
you guys.
meeting you and Rocky.
Thank you.
Rocky.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Yay.
That was great.
Great interview, everyone. I'm glad everyone was able to tune into it. It's a special night for us. We normally do these in the mornings, but we wanted to give you a special prime time interview on Friday night because guess what? Falcons are playing tomorrow. So Falcons Friday, everybody. Better get hyped. I don't even know where my flag at. I didn't even bring it out. Whoop, whoop. Oh, here we go. Come on, Dirty Bird. Y'all put them red and blacks in the chat. Let's get hyped because, even though it's preseason, we just always love to see our team play. So if you're out there, y'all show some love. I think Lisa will be out there. I'll be out there for the Saints game, everybody, because I got to work, unfortunately. But I will be there in attendance for those Saints games. So we're going to bring it out. We're going to show out. We're going to beat the Saints.
Y'all, we got rivalry week coming up. Yeah, you want to talk a little bit about rivalry week, Ms. Maggie?
Oh, well, yes. Rivalry week, we have quite a bit planned because we will have a special show. It's probably going to be on Thursday, but it might change to Friday. You never know. But we're going to have a special guest. Well, maybe special guest more than one because I actually did invite him to invite other people, and he said he was cool with that.
Perfect.
So,
perfect.
This will be a Falcons versus New Orleans panel. Me and Miss Lisa probably will be up in there too. Showing some love.
They talk so much trash, man.
It's gonna be trash talking, but very respectfully. Because TJ, that's his name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
TJ
from State of the Saints.
States. Yeah. I can't get it yet. Because I peek in. So it's like I'm gonna have to pay attention a little closer to the rivalry week just to hear what he has to say. I'm taking my notes. Just be on alert for that, people. But let's give a shout out to everybody that was in here. It says, agree, Lisa. I want running game. Also go Atlanta Falcons, rise up, Dirty Birds, and another great show. Thank you, Thea. Jamaria's great show. Marwan, ATL, home team. What's up? Wallace Smith. How you doing? Lisa. What are your expectations for tomorrow? Might as well ask you.
Well, I mean, it's the last, game before the final roster. So I'm sure there will be a lot of evaluation by, Arthur Smith and the coaching staff to see who is going to be on the 53-man roster. So, but I just want to see, the mistakes we saw in the Detroit game and then the mistakes we saw from the game versus the Jets, just some of those things cleaned up. Way too many penalties in that Jets game, man. It was just like, what's happening? So because this is the last game before the season opener, I just kind of want to see some things cleaned up. And again, obviously looking for the QB play. As Allison stated, it probably will be primarily Ritter. So let's just see, how he does. And I mean, like I said, he was amazing in the Detroit game. So, but yeah, I'm just looking forward to again, Falcons football. It's here, y'all. So I'm excited.
And one time for the fans, thank you for tuning in. Y'all make sure you check them out on Sunday evenings and Wednesdays also. So y'all make sure you check them out. And then Mike said there will be a post-game show right after the game tomorrow night. And of course, the regulators will be on Sundays, little breakdown of what happened also at noon to Sunday. So y'all tune that in also. But as far as what I expect, I just want everybody to be healthy, so we can go into these Aints games ready to go. We're probably not going to see much of this, we're probably not going to see any of the starters pretty much. Just, like you said, Ritter. I don't want Franks out there playing quarterback. Let's go keep him at tight end. Let's keep him there. And other than that, I just want to see just improvement and less mistakes. Definitely. I agree with you there, Miss Lisa. But that's all we got evening, because you know it's gonna be a long day for me tomorrow as well. So I'm gonna give you guys your evening back. You have fun, but not too much fun, you guys. But let's rise up on this Falcons
Friday. Woo! All right, you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you. And we're out, people. Thank you. Share this content out, please, and subscribe if you haven't. Yeet.